What's up, people? Welcome to Throwdown episode 32. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Brett Murdoch,
Hey everybody.
Brian Manjoma,
Spoiler, Bruce Banner gets angry.
Rachel Murdoch,
Hello, hello.
and of course, Chris Seeley.
I have a face.
Yes, you're back, man. Got a camera. You're all fancy looking now.
I know.
It's the same room. It's amazing to me.
Yeah, just a better camera. See, I don't live in a dark room.
Dude, I still remember the first time you were on camera where you were like, you had Kristen's stuff behind you, had the My Little Pony stuff.
Yeah, I had to use her camera. Yeah.
Yeah, Kristen stuff.
Yeah.
See, my room is bland and boring with toys in the back and TV. Got some books over there. Boring.
It's a trick of the camera. It's just tilted the opposite direction.
I need to get some cases like that for all the shit Brett has around here. It's like a dust factory around here.
I was just about to say that. It's like, I need to get those because you don't have to dust anything. That's fantastic. That's the worst thing about having little toys around. It's like, how do you dust these things?
Yeah, no, I just leave them in there.
Fucking awesome. All right, so as you guys may know, the man Y is not here tonight. No! Manny is in Chicago now at C2E2. So if you're at that convention, go to table T10 in Artist Alley. He's there with Kari Randolph, and they're doing the arts and all that shit. He's showing off his new Metal Gear book. So that'll be pretty fun. And yeah, Manny will be back next Throwdown. He's not gonna be back on Throwdown Questions either because Chicago and stuff. I know they got good food over there, so I hope he's enjoying all that. And let's get right into it. See, I love the video game gods. They blessed us tonight. I had absolutely no fucking feature for this week. Nothing happened. Nothing fucking happened. And then here you go. We got news about Microsoft. But before we get to that, before that, we were going to do something about geek culture, and I put out two pictures. Like, okay, which one do you want the cover to be? It was one with Age of Ultron, and another one with Batman and Superman. They were equal. Like, they got the exact same amount of votes. It's like, you motherfuckers, really? It's crazy. I guess it goes to show, you know, how popular these things are, because you always figure like the Marvel would win out, but apparently not. Very interesting. But then people like seeing Batman punch Superman in the face, you know. But let's get into it. So yeah,
I would support punching Superman in the face. He's kind of a toolbox.
Yeah, even your favorite Superman, what's his face, Henry Cavill?
Yeah, even him. Punch him in the face. I don't care.
All right, so Microsoft's third quarter earnings have come out, and apparently what we all knew was going to happen did happen. Slash sales are hurting Microsoft. The revenue's down 24%, you know, for the Xbox division. Yeah, it's math. If you sell something at a lower price and that thing doesn't sell very well, it is going to hurt your profits. Not hard to imagine that being the case.
Well, they were hoping that the lower price would, you know, make more people buy it. I don't know that necessarily it failing is the fact that they, you know, cut it down to a lower price. I just think that, you know, didn't save it.
It didn't because people didn't start buying it. That's the problem.
Yeah, exactly. So it went from like, okay, we've got a problem, I've got a solution. Wait, that just made things worse.
Pretty much. And then apparently the Xbox 360 was actually helping sales out last year, but since nobody's buying that system, sales went down even more. So the reason I want to bring this up is what can Microsoft possibly do at this point? It just seems like a catch-22 situation. They had a system at $500, no one bought it. They have a system at $350, no one bought it.
Oh! Did you hear the apparently? Shit, who was it? It's giving away, if you trade in an older console, they'll give you a credit toward an Xbone. Was that GameStop?
They probably would be them. How much credit are they giving you?
I think it was like $125 or $150.
That's not bad.
Let me see if I can find it.
But yeah, what can Microsoft do at this point? I've been trying to answer this. I don't know. It's like they have all these bundles and stuff. It's not really doing anything. I mean, they probably have the you know, the end of the year to make things come around with Halo and stuff. But there's still like what, 6 months between then and now. So I don't know. So I'm gonna go to you first, Chris. What do you think?
They honestly need more exclusives. Like, you know, say what you want. Like on either side of like Forza and Master Chief Collection or whatever, nobody obviously not enough people embrace those games. Those weren't like really selling systems, right? Because we have the numbers now. So they, they're looking forward to Halo 5. Quantum Break got delayed, so that's 2016, and they're looking to the next Forza. But it's like I don't think enough people, play Forza. I don't think that's going to really sell more consoles. And honestly, like the number they have now is that is the majority of people who are probably going to buy Halo 5, right? I don't think that's going to induct way more people into the Xbox world. Is not Halo 5 Guardians. They need something else to entice people into buying an Xbox, and they don't.
Maybe
have
Bloodborne just sold too many PS4s, and now people are just like, oh, I'm spent.
Maybe, but I mean, even before that game came out, nobody was buying it.
Yeah,
Like, I think they had like 1 month where they were actually outselling the PS4, not by that much, and that wasn't enough. I mean, even now, it's like, 3 months after the fact that they lowered the price, and like people are still not buying this shit.
Lowering the price is a short game, right? That's a short play. That's the instant boost, right? But in long term, it's not a good strategy, right? If you don't have something to back it up, which is games, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need those exclusives. They don't have anything, and then we're looking all the way to the holidays to Halo, and they don't have anything in between that really entice people. So that's a huge problem. They only had the short game, the price drop, and removing Connect, which allowed them to cut it even more.
But the thing is, like, you're talking about, like, they need more exclusives, but they arguably have more exclusives at this point than Sony does.
Well, not anything that a mass amount of people wanted to embrace, right? It's like, okay, they had Forza, right? But unless you're into racing, like, you're not going to embrace Forza, right? You're not going to go out and buy Forza Motorsport.
Yeah, it's a niche thing.
That's like if Sony was counting on Gran Turismo 7, like, in the first part of this year to sell consoles, right? That's not really going to happen. While there's a lot of people like Gran Turismo, it's not like people are going to run out and buy PS4 just for a game like Gran Turismo, right? It's not an all-inclusive racing game. It's kind of like you have to be into racing games to want to play that. Same thing with Master Chief Collection. Honestly, I bought it because I like Halo and I wanted to try all the new stuff, all the new matchmaking and stuff, which was broken when it came.
Yep, it was broken. You can't deny that.
But honestly, I had a conundrum because it's like I already own all these games, right, on 360. I already played all of those Halo games, so I was like thinking whether I should get it, and I was like, yes. I'm sure people were on the fence and said, fuck it. I already played all those games. I don't need them. So that wasn't really pulling people in like, oh, you need to own this collection. It was a nice thing to have, especially if you're a fan of Halo. But all these are like nice to haves. There's not anything grabbing people and saying like in your face like, holy shit, this is what I need to own an Xbox. This thing, it's not there.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't name a thing. I have it, but it's like I own an Xbox and I can't say I sit there like, oh man, this thing, I love playing this thing. It's like I like Killer Instinct. It's a great fighting game, but that's not pulling me into the Xbox every day. I've been playing Bloodborne. I was playing Axiom Verge. That was awesome. I just downloaded Shovel Knight. There's more reasons that I play on my PS4 besides playing with you guys, other friends I have online. Like honestly, my world right now is on PSN really right now.
Yeah, and I think that goes for a lot of people. Brett, I want to ask you this. Do you think the way Microsoft introduced the console is still hurting it at this point? You think that's still in play here, or is that we're already beyond that point?
I think we're beyond that point.
So what do you think is causing all this? Why aren't people picking up the system?
Because it's an inferior system. And I can hear people's heads exploding on the internet.
Yeah, other Zane, man.
Here's the deal. It's just like stats in an RPG or something like that. You only have so much to work with. And they chose to focus on multifunctionality. They chose to focus on Kinect. And the Kinect has yet to really grab onto a lot of the mass audience. So the problem is that it does all of this stuff, but the thing that people want is video games. And it doesn't deliver video games as well. And I honestly think this too. Like for the first time, I think we're beyond exclusives. I don't think exclusives are coming back, and I don't think they're going to save things. And the industry is going to have to learn to deal with that. And the only way that they're going to get exclusives back is if they start supporting small-time developers while they're small-time developers. Recruiting in the rookie leagues, the way, I don't know, every sports club ever fucking does it. It's that, and here's the other thing. Let me gather my thoughts here for a second. Okay, so the problem is basically that they're not offering what PlayStation is offering, which right now is a better gaming experience. They could, but they're going to have to really look at what they've got and what they can leverage. And as I've said before, what they've got is a bunch of Kinect stuff and a system that, other than that, is better at multitasking, but generally weaker. So, okay, well, what can you do with that? What can you do with all of this that can be more? How can you make this a more complete package than somebody else can get on another platform? And that's that they've already committed to the Kinect. They need to find a way to
they haven't. Remember, they cut the Kinect out of the 351.
That doesn't matter. They've spent so much time and so much money and so much energy. They built the entire system around the Kinect. You can take the Kinect out of the equation, but it just makes it 3/4 of a system.
Yeah, no, but that's the thing, though. That's exactly what they did. They took the Kinect out of the equation. They did it themselves. There's no more new Kinect games coming out. Kinect functionality has been severely limited with most games. It's just voice commands now, if you still have it. The Kinect is not a big player anymore. It was when the system was first launched. It isn't anymore.
I'm not saying it needs to be a big player. What I'm saying is it's an asset in their wheelhouse. It is something that they have that other people don't. Yeah, right now they have all this technology sitting on a shelf, not doing anything, because there's no way to utilize it. There's nothing to do with it. And that's often a problem when people try and quote-unquote innovate, is they just end up changing shit. So my thing would be, okay, how do you make the Kinect relevant? And as I've said it before, you probably are going to have to go the route of VR, because you're not, talking to Microsoft, you're not going to catch up to Sony. Sheer strength of will is not going to do it unless you really start gambling and investing either in games and property from small-time publishers that you can get exclusivity rights on, or in technology. And personally, I'd say technology. Like, it's becoming pretty obvious that the consumer market is kind of exploding over this whole idea of VR headsets. And I don't think that's going to be a passing phase. Yeah, it's going to not always be this strong, but I could see it taking a real place in gaming in the future. And so Microsoft at this point, really, I've said it before and I'll say it again, they need to find a way to integrate their Kinect technology with VR to create a more complete experience that is unable to be found on any of the other competitor systems. Because everybody's coming out with a headset, everybody has field of view, everybody has all this head tracking and all this other stuff. Microsoft can buy that. What nobody can buy from Microsoft is the ability to tell your heartbeat, to tell how many people are in the room, to tell where objects are in the room around you. That's still stuff that the whole VR market is still trying to hammer out, and Microsoft is just sitting on it. They've kind of got a monopoly over that last little keystone bit of technology, and that's what they need to exploit.
Yeah, but again, they're not going to exploit it because they're not emphasizing it. But one thing I want to touch on what you said. So you think instead of meeting Sony head on at their game, they need to just go a completely different route? Like, that's what you're pretty much suggesting, right?
Yeah, because after they built the systems, like, we are locked into this console generation. You can make a slim version, but you cannot make a different a version of Xbox with higher specs so that the lower version of Xbox doesn't run them.
No, but DX12 is coming to save it all, man.
No, it's not. There's nothing you are going to do that's going to make this a more powerful system spec-wise than the PS4. You just can't, and that's what I mean by they've already kind of hedged their bets with the Kinect, because without the Kinect, it's a GIMP system. They need to find a way to make the Kinect relevant, and the only way I can think of is some kind of VR technology. Now, hopefully, they'll be like, they'll realize that nobody wants their fucking augmented reality. Like, don't try and reinvent the wheel as it's being invented. Like, virtual reality isn't a thing yet. Nobody's bored of it. You don't need to put your own spin on virtual reality. Just fucking do it, and do it better. And that's the weird thing that baffles me. Like, everybody's kind of running to market with these new and gimmicky ideas, and there's only a couple companies that understand that the person to get out there, get out front, and do it the best, they're gonna make a shit ton of money. I mean, just an obscene amount of money.
If they do it right. Remember, the
Yes.
public still has to really accept it.
So I don't understand like why Sony insists on developing their own technology for this, and Microsoft hasn't just bought the technology from somebody else. I mean, Rift has enough competitors that like I'm subscribed to VR enthusiast Reddits that they pop up on my front page sometimes, and there are people actively out there testing and comparing models, and there's stuff comparable to the Oculus Rift that Microsoft could just fucking buy. So I don't know why they think they're just gonna one up everybody by having augmented reality instead of virtual reality. Like,
Yeah, that's what it seems like, pretty much. I mean, I don't know. That augmented reality seems even crazier than VR. You know, it's like, okay, I'm going to play in a room full of things around me. It's like, I don't know.
yeah, but you know, also nobody knows that their augmented reality goggles won't be able to double as virtual reality goggles. If they can project an opaque display over part of the screen, they should be able to project an opaque display over all of the screen. And then, you know, when you pause it, have it fade to a transparent overlay. Like, that right there could be cool, because a big problem they're working through is, you know, if you're so out of the room, how do you tell if, you know, somebody's about to bump into you? So, you know, maybe they're playing around with the ideas like maybe you can adjust the transparency of your game. So, you know, it's, you know, an 80% overlay. So you can still kind of see stuff behind it if you pay attention. So, you know, maybe that's what they're playing with, and maybe they'll come out and say ours can do more than just VR. It can do VR and AR. We don't fucking know. It doesn't seem like it right now, but again, none of us know. So, but if we're hypothetically asking what Microsoft would need to do to save themselves, they would need to do something drastic, and they would need to find a way to offer something that their competitors cannot, or offer something at a better quality and price than their competitors can do it. Because just one of those ain't gonna cut it anymore. And that's basic, you know, supply and demand. They need to find their niche because they've been kicked out of it, or they tried to build a niche and it didn't pan out so much. And so when they tried to come back to the core gaming niche, a lot of people were like, "Ah, sorry, you already moved on." It's the same thing Nintendo did, and it's weird that Sony wins by default. Like, Sony, who dicked us over years and years ago, has been the last company to actually be like, all right, well, I'll keep making a system for gamers. Whereas everybody else has tried to jump on ship with, well, how about we make games, you know, how about we make a system for you, your grandma, and your parents? Like, how do you not know you're going to lose some of your market share when you stop pandering to them?
Hubris, man. They figured, hey, we're on top of the world. Anything we do is going to sell, so fuck it. This is what we're going to do now. They try to shove their ideas on everybody's throats, and nobody liked that. Meanwhile, Sony was like, hey, you want games? Here you go. Here's some games for you. No sports, no TV. Here's some games. And it worked for them. Now they're just kind of riding their wave. Like, Sony doesn't even, like I said, I bring this up because it still astonishes me. Shuhei Yoshida is still like, I don't know what we're doing right. We wish we knew what we were doing right. The system is just selling. Sony's just riding this wave. They don't really need to do too much except not fuck up. And Microsoft is trying to figure out what the fuck they need to do.
It's just that. It's the whole not fuck up. It's easy to say not fuck up, but what they're doing is they're focusing on keeping their customers happy. And it's as simple as that. You know, at the end of the day, it's provide a service better than everybody else. Provide a service that's adequate and cheaper than everybody else. Find a place that you do something better than anybody else, and people will buy your product. The unfortunate part right now is Microsoft is in the business of selling a video game console. They did not make the best video game console they could. They made the best video game console, DVR player, home media streaming, Connect workout thing. And because they spread their focus so much, they came out with, while it's a good system, not as focused a system as Sony did. So, in the end of the day, Sony's offering the same games on a better system. The same games with, smoother gameplay, higher frame rate, better resolution. And for people who care about that, that's a thing. And the thing that nobody else thinks about is, for people like me or Brian or people who actually, kind of care about console resolution, all of our friends may follow us to that because it's all about playing video games with your friends. So you don't need to snag the whole audience, just enough of them. And that's how Microsoft maintained dominance for so long, but now Sony has it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, that's my point. Like, when I turned on my Xbox One, I had almost the equal amount of friends when I had PS3 as 360. Now, most of those people are just lapsed or went to PlayStation. I turn on my Xbox One, I'll see 1 or 2 people online. I turn on my PS4 and I'll see like 30 people online. You know, so that's a big difference. It's a big thing. It's like, wow, nobody's on. So I guess I'm just playing by myself, or I play Killer Instinct, just play pickup matches, which usually suck. You know, it's not the same.
Yeah, it's like a barren wasteland. But Brian, I want to get you in here because you actually bought a PS4 over an Xbox One. What was the main reason for that, or main reasons for that?
Friends. Friend had PS4, so
There you go.
they said, "Hey, Brian, we want to play PS4 games with you. I can get it, so we can be like the fourth man on GTA." I said, "Why not?"
There you
Yeah, and then and then the other thing I want to ask you is like, because I mean, you're a PC guy, so you already play on the highest settings or whatever. But did that factor into PS4 over Xbox for you? Because most games on PS4 are at a higher resolution than Xbox, generally speaking.
Not really, in fact, because like if I was gonna get like any multi-platform, then most likely I'd get them on PC, obviously. But it's pure, it's plain and simple. Like just deliver the games. Like it may sound like an obvious thing to do, but deliver if you make a games console, then make games for the console, or like, get games on that console that you can't get anywhere else. Like you're not guaranteed to shift units, but you're guaranteed to drum up interest.
That's true.
And I think that's what Microsoft is failing to do. Like Sony has been doing it like here and there on the side, but Microsoft, I don't know what Microsoft has been doing. I think that they've just been like hoping and dreaming that people will just buy it simply because, So they just need to come out swinging like they did in the 360 generation, because like that Microsoft, although that Microsoft was a dick Microsoft, it was still the Microsoft that did well in my eyes.
Yeah, that's true. But here's the thing, going on what you said, it seems like they only really swing during the holiday season. It's like the rest of the year they kind of leave it to the side. They don't focus on it. Meanwhile, like even though Sony may not be destroying everybody during the entire year, they're still kind of giving you something all the time. Even if it's not a big AAA game, it always seems with Microsoft they're always looking forward to like months ahead. And meanwhile, Sony's like, hey, next week we got this, next week we got that, next week we got this. How do you think that factors into it? Because they're just giving you little things, but it seems to be adding up more than Microsoft's. Here's one big meal, that type of stuff.
Microsoft's better at marketing.
Is that all it is? So you just focus
more. They spend way more.
They do, but like they only focus their marketing on one time of the year. It seems.
It's not that they focus their marketing on one time of the year. They plan when to release a game and how much marketing to put out in print and how much marketing to put on television, how much Dorito bags to put it on and all this. Like they very carefully calculate things to maximize their sales. They're brilliant analysts. But that's really what it is.
Go ahead, Brian.
For example, before watching Age of Ultron, that I did watch yesterday.
Yes. He's going to remind me every day until I see it.
I seen 2 adverts for Xbox. One of them was for the new Call of Duty, and another one was for The Witcher 3. And on both of them, they had the Xbox logo and PC logo. They didn't have the PS3 or the PlayStation logo in there at all. And they said, coming to Xbox One. So they definitely are marketing somewhere. So it's not like the marketing is not around, but it's definitely there. But it's just not as big as it should be, in my opinion.
Yeah, but interesting because those games are coming out on PS4 as well.
Yeah, but that's like Destiny. Remember, Destiny was only advertised on PS4, and they didn't show Xbox at all on TV or in print or anything. They only sold PlayStation.
Yeah. And the same thing's happening with Battlefront right now. You don't see any Xbox logos. Even if you go to Major Nelson's site, you see the PlayStation trailer in there. You don't see the Xbox one. Uh-oh. What's up, Brad?
We're going to talk about Battlefront later.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I threw that in there for you guys. I know you like those games. But yeah, like I said, I've been trying to think about it. I don't know how Microsoft's going to pull themselves out of the hole. It just seems like they may just have to just ride this gen out this way, because I don't really, Brad, you know me, I still don't believe VR is going to blow up like that. So I don't think that's going to save them. And then it's like games is like you're just going to wait every year to release 3 big games.
Well, no, I do think VR is going to come in on its own. I just don't think everybody's going to jump on Microsoft's AR.
Microsoft's AR, yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually praying deep down that the AR can double as a VR. But my main point with that whole thing is that it may not be, if Microsoft wants to find a new market to exploit, there's a new market fucking emerging right in front of you. Like, exploit the shit out of that instead of trying to figure out how to get on mobile games and connect my Windows phone with my Xbox. Like, just stop it. Just do what people are asking for.
Give me the games.
Yeah, but it's while I'm enthused for this, like it's clearly like when I told you that by what was it the some convention next year that VR was going to be a thing, I did not see the interest in it exploding the way that it has, because Oculus Rift was in production for years. And now all of a sudden, the last 6 months, like all of these technologies that people have been working on and hiding behind the scenes are coming out. There are several very solid competitors, and that right there is what I think you need to see, like public interest and competition, and that's the magic recipe for some cool shit about to happen.
Yeah, but it seems like let's say if VR blows up, it seems like Oculus Rift is going to get the majority of those people. It's not going to be
Oculus
Microsoft.
Rift is only for PC. What about the entire console market?
Isn't Oculus Rift Facebook like compatible or whatever?
It's Facebook compatible, but Sony is pushing their own Morpheus technology. So Sony's going to have their own brand headset, and that's the only thing that's going to work with the PlayStation. And Microsoft is going to have their own brand headset, and that's the only thing that's going to work with the Xbox. Neither of those is going to be the Oculus Rift. So we're going to see a huge disparity in performance here. And like if you hook up your Project Morpheus crappy headset and try and use the PlayStation Move to navigate through a world, that's going to be hugely inferior than if Microsoft put out True VR. If Microsoft put out True VR, it would be amazing.
Yeah, but isn't Oculus Rift going to beat them to the punch anyway?
It doesn't matter though, like, because you're a console gamer. Do you play on PC?
Yeah, of course. I know what you're saying, but the thing is, like, since the Xbox doesn't have as many people on it.
But that could sell the Xboxes. That's my point. Like, if I have a PlayStation, and Microsoft partnered, let's say Microsoft partnered with Oculus Rift and infused their Kinect technology in it, whereas Sony is trying to bring a Project Morpheus, which is the second iteration of Project Morpheus. The first one was like $1,200 and sucked my left nut.
It was specifically the left nut.
Yeah, it was awful. It looked like you were watching a 30-inch TV from about 8 feet away.
Oh man!
And like, it's 3D. You're like, this is crap. This is a $1,300 pile of crap. So I don't really have faith in Sony to be able to develop this kind of technology this fast without some fucking brilliant people. There's a reason Oculus Rift just flew out of nowhere. A genius group of inventors and engineers got together and exploited emerging technologies in production. Like, everything had to be right. And now Sony's just like, in a year and a half, be like, oh yeah, we got something comparable. I'm like, really? Comparable? Like, the Move was comparable? So if Microsoft actually came out and said, we bought some technology from Rift, we have virtual reality, we're hooking it up to our Kinect, boom, I'm going out and buying an Xbox that day.
Yeah, by the way, I need to point out the fact that people are going to focus on all the negative stuff we said about Microsoft, and they won't focus on what you just said about Sony, about how you don't have any faith in them with their VR. No one's going to remember that, conveniently.
Yeah, but
you just had to bring it up.
Here's the other thing, like the Oculus Rift has like a little camera that pays attention to where the headset is in 3D space. It can't recognize the rest of you. So if Microsoft did their shit right, they would have the only VR technology that can see how many fingers you're holding up, how fast your heart's beating, and when somebody else walks into the room. So when somebody else walks into your zone of VR technology, it, like, in a perfect world, you're watching this opaque overlay, right? Somebody walks within 6 feet of you, the game automatically pauses and the opacity drops to 50%. So Rachel could just like walk up to me and my game would pause out for a second and I'd stop swinging my sword, look at her, and she'd be like, dinner in 15. Like, okay. And then she'd leave and I'd tap a button on the side, boom, back to full opacity, and it keeps going. Like, that is what's going to be necessary to make it intuitive. And that's why I say, like, they're just sitting on a fucking pot of gold of these tools that would make this emerging technology amazing. And if they refuse to sell it to anybody, it's going to take them years to catch up.
Yeah, but can't you say the same thing about the actual Xbox One? It has all this cool shit in it, but they're not utilizing it right.
Well, that's my point. My point exactly. Well, they tried to utilize it, and nobody was interested.
Yeah, because
and
they tried to, force it down your throat.
Exactly. Like they tried to force me to buy something I didn't want, and as of yet, they don't seem to be making the thing I've been yelling at them to make. So it's kind of curious, but if they just fucking listen, like I said, they've already they kind of put the cart before the horse. But if they hadn't made the Kinect technology, they'd be playing catch up in the VR game all day long, and then they'd be really fucked. Like it's the only advantage they have. They just need to exploit it. I realize I've been rambling about this for far too long.
Yes, man. Yeah, man. This thing better come through, or you're gonna be very disappointed, man.
I'm probably going to be disappointed in something. The thing I'm actually really excited about is it takes so much more processing power to render something in 3D with something like an Oculus Rift that we're going to see a pretty drastic drop in graphics.
Uh-oh.
But the weird thing is, for some reason, there's this weird phenomenon where it's not a loss of immersion. The same way, like, you could be, have really bad eyesight, but you still feel like you're somewhere even if you can't see it. There's something about tricking your brain with certain stimuli, and VR seems to actually do that better than graphics do. Better than immersion, better than lighting. It's not necessarily if the shadows don't match up. Apparently, your brain can forgive that. But when you turn like this, your brain wants to see the world turn with you. It's one of the most basic things. So we could actually find ourselves digging a hole out of the hole, like what has better graphics, and really find what simulates reality better. It could be a game-changing thing because we've come as far as we can with graphics. Like what the fuck do we do now? Like we almost need a technology that makes graphics harder to produce, so that we can continue the climb of graphics.
Oh man, yeah, we'll see about that. But yeah, I guess we don't have much more to say about the Microsoft thing. It's just I don't know. I guess maybe when the fall comes, they'll probably do a little bit better. But Sony, this was announced today. They have 3 new projects that they're going to announce at E3, which will probably be out in the fall. I'm guessing since they don't have anything. So who knows? That's the thing. It's like people are like, oh yeah, the gap is going to be closed by the fall. But it's like Sony's momentum is not going to stop anytime soon. It hasn't stopped, at all. So
you can't assume the gap's going to close because of something Microsoft hasn't even announced or hinted at yet, other than them saying prepare to be excited.
That hope. You're
like Microsoft said, prepare to be excited. So clearly they're going to win this console race.
Oh shit, they're coming, man. They got Halo, son. It's done.
And we got to put it all in context. Remember, like Sony and Microsoft are huge companies, and they're more than just Xbox and PlayStation, right? And they're both doing incredibly well right now, I guess. Like Sony had some problems, but they're well, no, they're
Sony the company.
I was about to say, like Sony doing well. Like, hold on, like Chris, like which world are you living in?
Yeah.
The
PlayStation is doing great.
Yeah, PlayStation's doing fine.
No, PlayStation's doing well.
Not so much.
Okay, hold on. You didn't let me finish. I said Microsoft is making up profit, even though Xbox itself is down. Yeah. Their overall sales, I think, for everything, like you have to count enterprise and all the shit that Microsoft has their hands in, so they're making money, right? Sony overall is like losing money, but like PlayStation itself is doing very well. And then for all the Nintendo fanboys, I'm sorry, but Microsoft on their worst day is doing way better than Wii U ever did on its best day. So don't get your hopes up that what we're talking about gives you any hope that Microsoft is falling apart. Like Microsoft is way bigger and could buy Nintendo in a fucking hot minute. So don't worry yourselves about this news.
Exactly. It's not like the Xbox is going to go away. Microsoft still has a shit ton of money. They have more money than Sony and Nintendo combined, so don't worry about them. But Xbox, yeah, I don't have an answer. I don't know what these people could do at this point. Tomb Raider, that's cool. Halo, that's cool, but I don't know. I do not know. All right, let's move on here. Like I said, this was a slow-ass week in fucking gaming. Nothing happened. This happened actually on Friday, but since it's after Throwdown, it counts as this week. Star Wars Battlefront got announced. Apparently, it's missing a bunch of shit that was like in the other Battlefront games.
Yeah, thanks for half the game.
Yeah, like I wish I had this infographic, but Brett, you can go off. I know you. I'm guessing you like Battlefront, the other games.
Yeah, how do you fucking make a Battlefront without space battles? The fuck is wrong with you?
Holy shit.
Note. Hold on, Brett. The first one did not have space battles.
Battlefront 2 did.
Yeah, Battlefront
Yeah.
2 did.
The first one didn't.
Well,
So
yeah, because it was the first one.
they made a Battlefront without space battles. Like, I love Battlefield games, but not
Is
the
that
Battlefront
why it's
games.
just called Battlefront, not Battlefront 3? Because it's technically a regression from the second one?
I don't know.
Because that's
Yeah,
what it sounds like. Also, I'm looking forward to only playing 2 classes. Actually, no, I'm not. Go fuck yourself. I'm not buying this game anymore.
Wow.
Oh, Kurtzman.
Well, what about the maps though? They got 8 of them.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, 8 across, like, what, 2 planets? That's great. Thanks.
Oh man.
I appreciate that. Because, you know, what I want to do, what I'm looking for with the Star Wars game is Battlefield. Not playing iconic characters across worlds I've come to know and love, you know, through a franchise that I've held dear since my childhood. None of that nostalgia bullshit or quality game making or giving you more. Also, they have 5 DLCs already planned. They just announced the fucking game, and they have 5 DLCs planned. Betcha Space Battles isn't one of those motherfuckers. Have fun paying $15 for it.
Yeah, Brian, what are your thoughts about Battlefront?
Fuck you, EA.
That's pretty succinct right there. Fuck you,
That's
EA.
I mean, what else can you say when they're talking 5 DLCs and the game is announced? Like,
Here's my
what the
question.
fuck?
Okay, you have Battlefront 2, right, which was the last one that was insanely popular. It had all these features. How do you kind of come out with the next one and like take away like more than half of them? That's the shit I don't get. Like,
Because
Wow.
they expect us to be okay with it.
you think people
And I'm
will
not.
be okay with
Yeah,
it?
I'm not. We need to draw the fucking line here, people.
Uh-oh, this is
Like, that
Batman
I
all
would
over
draw the
again.
line.
Well, no. Like I've been drawing the line. Like you know. Oh my God. When they started parsing down Call of Duty, I didn't say fucking much. And when they came for your sports games, I was fucking all right with that. But this is goddamn Battlefield we're talking about. They come for Battlefield now. They're fighting for my cornflakes.
Whose dog was
cool,
that?
man?
That was mine, sorry.
Brett, see, they're fucking with your Battlefront, man. Now you mad? I'm mad.
God, I swear to God, if you resurrect KOTOR and you fuck it up, I'm coming to someone's house.
Oh, we got a pod dog. Hello,
Here
dog.
Hi, pod dog.
Yeah, I don't get it. It's weird. Like, it's like I don't know why they're doing it. I mean, I kind of don't have a stake in this because this ain't that single player. I'm like, what's the point? You know, I'll wait for
Oh
the.
yeah, they moved single player as well.
Yeah, they removed that. So it's like,
Yeah.
what's the point? What am I playing this for? It's Star Wars, and I don't get to play a story. What's the point
The
here?
sad thing is they're basically going to take a game that was about Star Wars through the medium of shooting, and they're going to turn it into shooting and remove all the Star Wars, and they'll be like, see, nobody wants a sci-fi game. I guess nobody wants a Star Wars game. It's like, motherfucker, yes, we want a realistic Star Wars shooting game. We wanted, 1313. We want these fucking games. We just don't want to be raped in the process by EA.
Yeah, well, apparently it's gonna happen. You think people are gonna buy this game though? Because they're already sinking a ton of money into this shit. You know, the hype train's gonna be strong.
Pissed. People are pissed. At least the people that I've been talking to in the forums that I've seen on, like it's almost become mimetic how much less this game gives you than the previous iterations. And so because of that, it's kind of the shit talking has almost gone viral. And I look forward to see what DICE is going to do about it, considering that they don't have much good graces after the last game arrived broken.
Yeah, Battlefield 4. Yeah, that came out all fucked up. But here's the thing though: all the people I've been talking to who never played the other games, they're fucking psyched as shit. They're like, "Oh my god, Star Wars is like Battlefield. This is gonna be awesome."
Of course they are.
So, are you worried that those people are gonna make this game a success?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, that's just what fucking happens. Is they're just gonna bleed over all the Call of Duty assholes. Fucking fine, great. Now we're just gonna be sniping people from 400 meters away. Hooray!
Yeah, because I was talking to two of my boys in the chat room yesterday, man. They were going, "That's like, oh my god, dude, it's Battlefield, but Star Wars. This is gonna be great."
But it's
Look at Brian. Oh man, go ahead, Brad.
they've taken all of like, oh man, I don't know how to say it, but they've taken all the fucking fun out of it. Like they've made it too gritty and realistic. From the shit that I saw, it's like this doesn't even look like Star Wars anymore. And like half the fun of And half the point of the old Battlefield games was leveling up enough so you could get a Jedi and then just destroying everything on the battlefield. Like, you're telling me you take the fucking Jedi out, and like you can't pilot an AT-AT walker, because God knows nobody wants to pilot Star Wars vehicles.
Yeah, you get the freaking speeder. That's it. That's all you get.
What? Did they confirm that?
Yeah, you cannot drive the AT-AT walker, and no other vehicles have been confirmed. But they've directly said like, no, you cannot drive the AT-AT. Like,
Why?
what? Why?
So, okay, wait. So then, I'm assuming that they're going to have the Battle of Hoth in there, because they're showing that first, and you're not going to pilot the AT-AT. So what's the point? Seriously, like, what's the point?
I don't know. Because Battlefield?
No,
So
but then
yeah, so you don't get the
AT-AT.
you don't get the AT-AT, and you don't have the flying vehicles either. The other ones that take down the AT-ATs, like.
No, it's just all probably going to be like a really pretty set box.
Can
in
you
the back.
can you write a tauntaun at least?
Oh shit! I was just gonna ask that.
Can you write a tauntaun?
I severely doubt it.
Wow.
So basically, they just took Battlefront 2 and then stripped out everything good about it.
Yes.
And they'll put about a quarter of that back in the DLCs probably.
Yeah, I was just about to say, when do
Pretty
they not do that and then put it back in DLC?
Like they're not gonna give you the space battles, but they're probably put vehicles in the DLCs. Watch, you're gonna be able to pilot something, but that's in DLC number 2, which is I don't fucking know. Dagobah, I don't fucking know what they're gonna throw in there.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny, 'cause, like I said, I never played these games myself, but just hearing you guys, this sounds like a total fuck up on their part, you know?
No, well, because Battlefront 2 had Hoth. You could pilot AT-ATs in Hoth? I'm not sure. Okay, I don't know if you pilot the AT-ATs in Hoth, but you could pilot the other ones. You could pilot the
Those A-wings, right?
Yeah, the A-Wings.
the A-Wings to take down the AT-ATs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You even had a Tauntaun on Hoth.
Yes.
God damn it!
Yeah, see, it's like all the iconic stuff they took out because they're like, oh, we don't need this. These guys are not going to understand this. Fuck it. They just want to shoot each other.
Well,
it's like, if you're playing as a stormtrooper, why wouldn't you pilot this shit?
Yeah, but it's more like they're looking at their usual Call of Duty Battlefront guys and just like, if you give them guns and just dress them like stormtroopers, that's enough, right? They're not thinking about guys like Brett, right? Like people who know the Star Wars mythos and want to be part of it. They don't give a shit about those guys. They're just thinking about it's a dude bro cry. This is the Michael Bay of fucking Star Wars games, right?
I like how you snuck in. It's the dude bro.
Yeah. That's what happened to Transformers. That's what is happening to movies. It's just give them enough. Just give them enough nostalgia. Just like, here, look, set pieces. Aren't you happy?
It makes me upset because it's one of those things like you're building off the reputation of the previous games, but you're making it nothing like the previous games, and so you're not even making it for the same people who are evangelizing it. You're like, hey, thanks for the success. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
We think there's more money over here, so eat a dick. Peace.
It's like, but give us your money too. That happens in other media.
I don't even think they're asking for our money too. They're like, but Battlefront, I thought we loved Star Wars. Battlefront's like, I love money. Fuck yourself.
But why call it Battlefront then? Isn't that an obvious ploy to get the old fans back?
Because everybody like, well, I may not buy it. All my friends have heard me talk about how awesome Battlefront is, and they'll remember that when they see it on the shelf.
I gotcha.
So it's like they're hijacking my praise and running off with it.
They're using you, Brett.
I feel a little used.
Oh man.
On a counter note, if we're done, can I point out?
Yeah, go ahead.
Kerbal Space Program is about to hit 1.0 in about 4 days. For those of you who don't know, it is a space simulation program with like little things that kind of look like minions. You
need to post that trailer in there.
Yeah,
that was awesome. It almost moved me to tears. It was amazing.
Ooh, is it a new trailer? I'll post that on the site.
Yeah, we'll post it up. It has been out on since 2011 in early access, and it came out on Steam in March of 2013. And even at that time, it was a amazingly fun sandbox game. The only thing it was missing was some base objectives, but it was here's a planet, here's a space station, build, launch rockets, have fun. And since then, they've been grooming it and fixing it, and just turned into a highly polished, incredibly deep game. They've collaborated with NASA on it. They've installed some of the most amazing physics engines I've ever seen. And my point basically is, while this was a fun, playable game, Keen has reliably and consistently gone out of their way to add things that, while they had hoped to put in, they never promised. And even after their 1.0 release, they're naming it their 1.0 because they've achieved everything that they set out to do, and all of the maybes as well. So they have to have basically officially announced, like, this is launch, but kind of as a thank you to the community, they're going to continue to produce things for it. So they're going to continue to update it, continue to add new content, continue to do what EA would charge you a season pass or 5 DLCs to do, and they'll do it for free because they love their consumer base and they like what they do. This is a game company that I could not heap enough praise on, and everybody should support, because I feel like every game company should be as close-knit with their community, because it's good grace, it's word of mouth, and it's community support that have kept this game afloat and made it so hugely successful. So everybody check it out. Thank you, Keen Software, for being awesome.
And not doing an EA and giving you, like...
thank you for not being DICE.
Oh, man.
Can we just talk about how little of that Star Wars Battlefront trailer was actually gameplay?
Yeah. I mean, like, they're in-game graphics, right? But actual
is
gameplay-
anybody surprised, though?
Yeah. I mean, Brian, you said how little of it. I didn't think any of it was gameplay.
Oh no,
It's
none
all
of it.
in-game footage.
Yeah, no, it's in-game footage.
No, it's all in engine footage, not actual gameplay.
Oh yeah, that's true.
At the
Yeah,
end,
no.
it actually says that it's not actual gameplay, which I thought was funny.
Yeah. No, I just had to harp on that because you said, like, how much little gameplay. It's like, no, there's no gameplay at all. Not even a single drop of gameplay. It's just footage. That's it. Like, apparently 5 minutes of it was shown, but we didn't get to see that.
No, I don't know why. I don't care why. I'm assuming that they'll show more at E3 since.
Everything's at E3.
Well, it's EA's biggest thing right now. They don't have a Dead Space. They don't have Sims. They don't have
Mass
a
Effect or
Mass Effect, Dragon Age. They don't have anything big this year apart from this.
That's
So,
true.
You know why nobody cares about Sims is because they just pulled this same shit. Like Rachel's a Sims fan. She might get mad at me for admitting that for.
No, I
she
didn't know
knows.
that before.
Yeah,
Okay.
she says that. She wrote
I've written about it.
She
Okay.
wrote a very like scathing article about it on SF and Play back in the day about the shit they pulled, you know?
Well, yeah, like 4 is apparently they've removed so much that the game is barely even the game anymore, and it's actually interesting because Rachel can't play 3 because her video card is too nice. So now she doesn't want to play 4 and she can't play 3, so she's just floating in the ether, unable to play Sims.
It's sad.
Wow.
I know. I'm sitting there like, what is this error? I had to do like an error scan thing, and it's like, what video card? Like the error itself wasn't even throwing anything. I had to look, and it was listing nothing for the video card. I was like, my video card is too good for this fucking game. That has never happened to me before.
Sims looked at the specs, saw a 2 gig computer card, went, I'll even, and then shit itself.
yeah, the original Halo on PC does that. Like, if you have like a good video card, it'll complain that the video card is not good enough.
Crazy. It's
So
like,
I was
bitch, you need to
quite-
downgrade.
I was like, I have a GTX 970. Like, how's my card not good enough to run Halo, the
No,
first one?
Brian, that's the problem. It's too good. It's too good.
It's like handing an old person a cell phone. They're like, no, I said I need a telephone.
Yeah. Oh man!
Wow.
All right, let's move on. So this came out today too. Very surprising and slightly annoying for me. Square-Enix is gonna have an event at E3. It's like, come on, guys! Fucking Bethesda's already there. Now we got Square-Enix got to cover. It's like, this is crazy. But for the fans, it's gotta be great, I guess. I'm pretty sure they're gonna show Final Fantasy 15, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, Kingdom Hearts 3, and probably Hitman.
Just Cause 3.
Just Cause 3. That's right. So they definitely have enough for a conference, and I do find it interesting that they're taking up the exact same time slot that Nintendo used to have back in the day, the 9 a.m. time slot. But you know, me, I can't like just separate. It's like, fuck, I gotta go.
Where's
You gotta
the
wake up
Nintendo
early,
in
go
all
cover
this?
this shit. But it should be cool. Like I'm looking forward to Final Fantasy. Obviously, that's the main one for me. Like I hope they change some of the camera issues I was having with the demo. And Deus Ex, obviously, whew, man. Dos
When is
Equis.
Nintendo presenting?
What happened?
When is Nintendo presenting?
Brett, really? That's cold-blooded. But yeah, it
Where
should,
am I gonna get my Mario fix, Tony?
hey, you're gonna get, hey, you'll get a Nintendo Direct sometime around there, I guess. So yeah, what do you guys think about Square Enix, the whole their own thing? Like, why do you think they're doing this? Do you think they're like on that Ubisoft level now? I don't think they are, but maybe they think they are. I don't know. Chris, I'm gonna go to you first. What do you think?
I don't know, maybe they just feel like they have a strong lineup, so they just are going all out to promote it. I mean, you know, Final Fantasy 15 is probably big for them. I don't know about the other ones. Rise of the Tomb Raider is probably big. I don't play Kingdom Hearts, so I'm not really a Kingdom Hearts fan, but I'm sure that's a big deal. You know, maybe they just feel they have a strong enough lineup to warrant, you know, showing them off.
What do you think about Dos Equis being showed off?
Dos Equis.
Shout out to Torrance Davis. He always called Deus Ex that.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure that it's. I know.
You haven't played Human Revolution, have you?
No, I know people who have, and they
Oh
say
yeah,
they
you
like
would,
it, so-
if you played it, you wouldn't have that reaction right now.
Yeah, see,
How much do you
I
want-
can't.
How much do you want to bet that they're going to do a remake, or like not a remastered of the last one?
Oh, I don't doubt it.
Oh, yeah,
I would
don't
I would
doubt
not
that.
take that, but I almost guarantee that they'll bring that out. How about they show Final Fantasy VII again? The old one.
By the way, speaking about that, did you see that announcement today? Okay, they're doing a 3D remake of Final Fantasy IV. Yay! Hold your applause. The After Years. What a waste. The After Years.
Okay.
Yeah, the After Years was complete shit. Like,
I think it's
really?
fair to say now, like Square Enix is just like the troll company, because like
Yeah.
there's no way that they do this on purpose.
Yeah, it's like
No, it's no way that it's all by accident. Like they're purposely just like doing this to, like annoy people now.
yeah, it's like for every cool announcement, they annoy you with something else. It's like, hey, Deus Ex Mankind, you know, whatever. Yay, Final Fantasy IV. The After Years. Oh, you fucking really? Final Fantasy VII. Remake. It's just the upgraded version.
The Steam version.
The Steam version. Yeah.
Really, really.
Really, you get your hopes up. Oh shit,
I
what's
would,
gonna
I would
happen?
even be down for like a Final Fantasy VI.
Yes.
After Years.
Yes.
Like,
No,
why
no,
did
no,
you?
no after years. No after years. Stop.
No,
the
no,
after years.
even that. Like, even like fucking, I don't know, Kefka comes back. I don't fucking care. Like, let's do this. I love that game. 4 was one of those, like, 4 was the Final Fantasy between 1 and 3. I was not a huge Final Fantasy 2 fan. Like, I was like, yep, that was, it's kind of like Final Fantasy 1.
Send all your hate mail to Brett Murdoch. That's one of the most
I
beloved Final
preferred
Fantasy
1 and
games.
3 more. I thought it was the weakest of the original 3 that we got in America.
Interesting. Even more than 1, because I thought it was way better when it actually had a story. 1 didn't really have a story. It's just like, hey, the world's in trouble. There's 4 crystals. Go. That's
Yeah,
it.
you know, I only played 1. Like, I haven't gone back since then and played 1, so I'm sure that's a little bit tinted by nostalgia. But
Yeah.
it felt essential. It felt like a classic D&D.
Oh, it was.
campaign.
It was essential, yeah. But I'm just saying, there was no story to that at all. Like, the guys didn't even have proper names and stuff. It's literally, here, the world's in problems. You need these 4 crystals. Gather crystals. Fight the bad guy. You're done. That's the whole game. Literally, the whole game. It's great. Don't get me wrong, but 4 was the one that actually wasn't the 2 was the real 2, not American 2 was the one that had a story. But 4 had like the most memorable characters and stuff, you know. But that's interesting. You would say that.
Do you think 4 had the most memorable
No,
characters?
no. Like out of the like, it was the first one that had really memorable characters. Obviously, 6 blew them out the water, you know. But yeah, that 4 was a pretty pivotal one.
Yeah, I suppose that's fair. I guess, yeah. In hindsight, it's if I had to say 2 is probably actually a better game than 1. Or
Yeah.
4 is actually a better game than... I don't know which one this always gets so confusing when you talk about Final Fantasy.
Yeah, it's like, wait a minute, Final Fantasy IV, they never released that. It was 1, 3, and then 7. But yeah, 3 years. Anyway, Square Enix, yeah, they definitely have a lot to show. But yeah, I'm just talking about for me personally. It's like, come on, it's too much work. I'm gonna send you to that shit. I don't want to go.
Maybe it's just that they have a lot. They have a lot of games coming out, and they don't want to get lost in the shuffle. Deus Ex is a big title. Kingdom Hearts is a really big title of theirs. Maybe, just maybe, they're going to announce they're remaking Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah. Oh man, could you imagine if they troll people like that again?
Yeah, they'll just show random scenes from Advent Children, and then they go, psych, no.
No.
It's really the old game.
Like, here
this
it's coming.
in-game footage.
But it's interesting how like the American games have as much heft as the Japanese ones, but obviously the big Japanese one is Final Fantasy 15 because everybody's waiting for that one. I know I am, man. Can't wait. I hope they announce that it's coming out this year. That's it. Clear my fucking calendar. I'm done. Can't wait.
Is that the one where it's no longer turn-based? It's kind of free roaming.
Mm-hmm. It plays like Kingdom Hearts essentially, just a little bit more grittier and shit like that.
I swear to God, if they wait long enough to remake Final Fantasy VII and they make it like not turn-based, again, I'm gonna mail somebody something suspicious.
Don't implicate yourself, please. Brian, what do you think about the Square Enix thing before we move on?
Along the show Just Cause 3, I'm happy. Like, that's all I care about. And maybe some more news on Final Fantasy 15. Is it 15 now? Yeah, 15.
Yeah, 15, yeah.
Show just news on that, because Jesus Christ, I've been waiting for that game for so fucking long. It's ridiculous.
Brian, we got since you have a PS4, we got to get you a day one copy of Final Fantasy Type 0 so you can play the demo for 15, man.
I'm not buying Type 0. Like, just
no, I'm not saying we have to buy it. I said we have to get you. Wink, wink.
Oh yeah, you can get me one if you want, but hey. Well, in fact, I'm not ready to just wait for the full game. In fact, like, I want to save the excitement, because I've been excited for the game since like it was announced alongside with 13. So I've just been waiting, So I'm more than happy to wait.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But I think with Final Fantasy 15, since we had the demo, I'm pretty sure they're gonna have a little bit more, probably some more playable shit too, which will be nice, But yeah, cool for them. 6 conferences now because we have the main 4, right? Wait, yeah, it's 4. Oh, hold on, or is the main 3? Hold on, am I
Sony, Microsoft,
and EA and Ubisoft? That's 4.
Activision, EA, Ubisoft.
Activision has an event.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they've never had an event ever.
I swear they had one at one point.
They've never had one. They've had one at night, and it's not public. It's just like a big ass party, Like it's literally a rock concert. It's not. They're not even showing games. It's just a fucking concert. But yeah, it's always Microsoft, EA, Ubisoft, and Sony, right? That's always day one. Now you got Bethesda and Square Enix in the mix. It's Square Enix is on Tuesday, not on Monday like the other guys. So. And we'll see. Bethesda, we'll see. What? See, Bethesda's the real mystery. It's like, Square Enix, I know what you're going to show. I know exactly what you're going to show. Bethesda, what are you going to show? You're going to show Elder Scrolls 6 and maybe Fallout 4? Do you really see that happening? I don't know.
Fallout 4 is overdue.
Complete game.
Like, here, the reason I asked about Fallout 4 is, like, if it was actually coming out, don't you think it would have been leaked by now?
They've been hinting around it, and no, I mean, Bethesda isn't a company that has a lot of projects. They're usually a pretty focused company, and especially with the Holy Grail, which at this point is Fallout.
Yeah.
And if you look at the releases, like we're actually a couple years overdue for a new Fallout game.
Oh no, I agree with you, but I just feel that if something would have came out like oh shit guys, like an insider would have leaked something.
What the hell else is Bethesda going to talk about?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Working on the new Doom, or was that id?
That's id. Yeah, that's id.
Yeah, that's it.
But isn't id and Bethesda kind of mixed up together nowadays? I don't know.
If I remember correctly, they're published by Bethesda. Doom is so.
Okay.
Maybe just one of those things.
Yeah, but yeah, it'll be interesting. All right, so that's all for the gaming stuff. Let's move on to pop culture. All right, the first one. Okay, Manny brought this to my attention, I think on Saturday last week after we did the show, and I was like, "Oh, that's kind of fucked up." And then he was like, "Hey, you're gonna bring it up on the show today?" I'm like, "I don't know, because I know he was really kind of passionate about it." And then Rachel came to me, he's like, "Hey, why don't we do this?" I'm like, "Oh, she wants to talk about it," and we all love Rachel's rants. So Rachel, tell us what's going on with this. What happened exactly at the let me get this right, Calgary Convention Expo.
Yeah, Calgary Expo. Essentially big convention for all manner of arts, comics, I believe.
Canada.
Allison Tiemann, who has a comic and is part of the Honey Badger Brigade, which is a vocal female men's rights group. Also kind of supporting Gamergate, but not very, Gamergatey, I guess, if you want to...
Yeah, they're just friendly.
Yeah, they're just friendly. And so they went to this convention, had a booth, to sell her comic stuff, and also had some Gamergate merchandise there. And the only thing that they had on Gamergate on the their banner was fight against censorship, which is kind of ironic, seeing as how they went to a, what was it, feminists or women in comics panel, where the panelists were all talking about, how hard it is for women to be in comics, and the whole pity me, poor me, victimhood crap. And Allison stands up and was like, "Can I, talk about that? Because I'm kind of a men's rights activist, and you can hate me if you want." And they agreed to let her speak. And she's like, "I don't necessarily agree with the whole narrative that you're trying to sell here, that women are inherently victims, and we deserve special treatment because of that status." And it's basically just it wasn't it was not what they wanted to hear, but it wasn't violent, it wasn't triggering. I guess it would be if you're a giant pussy.
Yeah.
But they later came to her, apparently it was from what I understand, the Calgary Expo has some famous ties. I forget which publication, but it's a very feminist leading publication, has some clout in there. And then all of a sudden they got marched up on their booth and separated everybody and kicked them out. And not only did they kick them out, they banned them from all other expos across the country of Canada.
Yeah, which is fucked up because this woman is like an artist too. She does comics and all that stuff, and now she can't show her stuff off to any Canadian convention. And that's the part that got Manny really pissed off. He's like, "Wait, she's just doing her thing." And you're right, she didn't do anything. She didn't do anything that warranted them getting the whole booth shut down, because they posted
the entire panel that they were in, that they were disruptive in. And there was nothing wrong with it. It was an incendiary question, sure, considering the audience, but it wasn't anything, outright abusive, or it was just critical. And that's anybody who has any inkling of art whatsoever kind of expects criticism. It's part of what art is,
Yeah.
You put yourself and your creation out there, and honestly, if you don't get criticism, you're not doing it right.
That's a good point.
So this whole fucking safe space, protected bullshit that's going on, and to the exclusion of people who dare to, have different opinions as you, is just fucking mind blowing. I tweeted about it earlier. It's insane how somebody can be so quote unquote progressive that they turn into a bigoted, hateful, authoritarian fucking dipshit. And it's like they're fighting the very it's like they're turning into the very people they're fighting against, which is it's mind-blowing, and they don't even recognize it.
Yeah, it's like I said in that editorial I wrote. It's like the end of Animal Farm. Remember, the pigs
Yeah.
became like the humans. You couldn't tell them apart anymore. It's the same shit. And Manny was telling me this. I don't know if this is true or not, but he said that this is kind of the way Canadians operate. Like they'll basically, if they get complaints about something, they'll shut it down and then apologize about it later. Because apparently, the group they like came to them. This is what they said. They came to them with false pretenses, but they didn't. They were legit on the up and up with everything they presented.
Right.
To them, but apparently,
Yeah,
so
they were saying
later,
they were saying it was a bait and switch thing. Like, oh, you came in under the pretense of selling your comic. You turned out to be a Gamergate shill. Well, not really.
But the thing is, even if she was a Gamergate shill, which she wasn't, that shouldn't have your booth be closed down. I don't think.
No.
I think it was more, and I'm not saying that this is right, but I think it's more that she's pretty much the head of the Honey Badger Brigade, and they were basically accusing.
No, she's not the head. She's a prominent figure. She's
Okay.
not the head.
Prominent figure. I think they basically viewed it as her signing up for a booth under her comics name and then representing herself as, the Honey Badgers. So, which I don't think is right.
Yeah. Is that what they said?
That's what they're claiming.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that still sounds stupid.
Well, it does. Like, it's where do you draw the line? Like, if Manny were to make a comment about, comic books at a comic book convention as a comic book artist, like, he has every right to. But if then he went, or if he was part of an organization that spoke about those rights, suddenly he wouldn't be able to talk about that. Like, you should be able to have an opinion as an artist, even if you're part of an organization. And maybe you need to clarify, like, I'm speaking personally, not on behalf of any organization, but...
And again, it was a very passive, they had a thing at their booth like, ask me about ethics in game journalism or whatever. It wasn't like they were crashing every single panel at the convention talking about Gamergate, Honey Badgers, Gamergate. Like, and that's what they were kind of acting as if they were doing. Which, honestly, if people were doing that, fuck them, kick them out. Great. I don't want that shit either.
Yeah,
but to be sort of passively, like, you can, if I was at a convention like that and let's see, what would be the antithesis of me? Let's see, mother of 8, super feminist booth, like, ask me about why feminism is awesome. As long as you don't come into a completely unrelated thing and start badgering people with it, I don't give a flying fuck. Exist. Great.
Yeah, and isn't the whole model was like diversity or whatever?
Right.
Yeah, how you gonna have diversity
and inclusion, except for the people we don't like.
Yeah, that's how it is. I mean, and I'm glad you said that because that's what is going on here. Basically, these people had a different opinion than what the prevailing opinion was, and they needed to stamp it down. That's what's really going on. And this is shit that's apparently happening in Canada too. Like, we have enough of this shit in America, and I mean, I'm not surprised it's happening in Canada, because they're way more progressive than America is. But yeah, it's like it's just spreading across the West. This whole like PC bullshit, and it's like you can't even say anything more. I always say this, like, it's gonna get to the point where we all men and women have to dress in fucking burqas and just mumble shit. Don't say anything because you're gonna offend someone by the way you look and the way you talk. It's crazy. It's fucked up. You can't even say anything anymore. And this is just another symptom of this, basically, or whatever the disease is. I don't know what the fuck the disease would be. It's totally fucked up, and you're gonna hear more of this shit. People just I don't know what it is. They grow up a certain way, and they're not taught, like, hey, other people are going to feel differently than you. That doesn't make them evil. That doesn't make you bad either. It's just the way it is, man. They're going to disagree with you. Accept it. If they disagree with you, talk with them. Maybe you could understand their point of view. But no one does that. It's all, they disagree with you, they're evil, shut them down. And they're like you said, they're becoming what they despise. They're becoming extremely totalitarian now. And I don't really know how you're going to fix this. It's crazy. It's maddening.
I hope that it implodes in on itself and just crumbles and goes away. I mean, I try and remind myself that there's a difference between, like, internet feminism and actual, like, women's rights activists and actual and social justice warriors and actual people who are fighting against this shit that we all fight against. We want inclusion, we want diversity, but we don't want it at the expense of creativity. and free speech,
Yeah, it's insane, and we're probably gonna talk more about shit like this as the years and years go on. Fucked up. All right, let's move on. Kind of, sort of related topic here, because we're all about inclusion now, or I don't know what it is. Anyway, basically, you found out that Iceman, because okay, let me back up a little bit. So basically, the original X-Men were brought into the present, the younger versions of them, and then you found out that Iceman, Bobby Drake, is gay, but he's not gay as an adult. I'm not gay myself, but I don't think that's how it works. I don't think you could like.
Wait, what? He ungayed?
He ungayed. Yeah, thank you for saying that way. He ungayed. Like Jean Grey Jean Grey read into his mind like, "Hey, you're gay, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, I am gay." It's like, but the adult you is not gay. And it's like, and that alone, I'm like, that's not how it works.
Actually, it is. Like, it's the older version of Iceman is gay. He's just probably
no. They said that he is heterosexual.
Well, they'll probably retcon that.
Yeah, if they retcon it, it's like, oh, he's just hiding it. Fine, but you can't switch like that.
Oh, I'm sure they will. I'm sure it'll be just one of those things like, even in the thing that they kind of make a mention of it. They're like, but other Iceman's not gay. Like, he dated women. They're like, well, not really very well. And they're like, okay, but he dated Kitty Pryde. They're like, yeah, she's gone. See how well that turned out. So, of all of the things to change, like, I know I bitch a lot, but like, good on this, because it's something that could actually be. I've known 40-year-olds who are like, so I just realized I'm gay, and I'm like, how do you go so long without knowing this? But it's a thing, and maybe it would open the door to some storytelling that a lot of gay people who have had trouble coming out, like, they could sympathize to, or they could relate to, and then you have this weird storyline of like, older Iceman looking back at younger Iceman, being like, man, if I could have come out 20 years ago, think of all the I could have a cool little gay family by now, like, who knows, and maybe that makes him really depressed. Like, there's a bunch of ways stories can come out of that.
But here's
the
thing,
way
Brett.
Better than just being like, I don't know, they're black now.
Yeah, no, but Brett, that's what I mean though. The way you described it, if that's what they end up doing, that's cool, no problem with that. But that it seems like they're trying to have their cake and eat it too. It's like, well, yeah, regular Iceman, he's straight, he's the same straight guy you've always known. But young Iceman is gay, and I'm like, no, it doesn't work like that.
They will switch older Iceman. Mark my words, because nobody wants the backlash of, so are you saying people can just ungay?
That's what I'm trying to get at. It's like, you can't ungay. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, no,
unless Mephisto had something to do with it, wink, wink, Spider-Man. Like, it doesn't work.
Even then, you cannot like make somebody gay or not gay.
That's what I'm saying.
This or magic powers or anything like that.
You're trying to find a line. You don't want to put Mephisto in anywhere, because then the Christians will start reading Marvel. See, the devil makes you gay. It's like, no, that's not what they're saying.
That would be even worse. The devil makes you gay. Oh, man. The religious people will go have a field day with that. But yeah, that's my thing. It's like, when I read this, I was like, oh, so a regular Iceman's gay too, right? That's cool. No, he's still straight. And I'm like, what? No, that's...
No, he just hasn't come out yet.
Okay, if he doesn't, okay, that's fine.
And it makes me admit,
why don't you just be bi? Why don't you just be pan? Just be whatever.
They said that in the comic. They're like, the Iceman was like, I think I'm more kind of bi, and Jigar was like, yeah, well, everybody is, but I think you're more full on gay, and he's like, yeah. I love the exchange, and I also love like that they just kind of wanted to release it with no fanfare. Like, I think that's how it ought to be done. Like,
by the way, that's what Bendis wanted. That's not what happened. As soon as
that's not what happened. That's not. Well, people reacted to it, but they weren't like introducing new gay
hey.
and have like like a screen like a splash page of him like standing nervously in front of all the other X-Men sitting patiently in folded chairs as he's about to reveal some kind of news to them. Like, it could have had so much fanfare that it didn't have. It was just like, I might be gay, but I might be bi, and you guys like, no, you're pretty full on gay, and that's it. Like,
Listen, and again, Rachel, this goes to our, what you were talking about, how we have that little bit of racism and throw it out and have to throw some gay. Obviously, it's not big fanfare because he's white. If he was Hispanic or black, I have an announcement to make. Like, it would be a huge thing, man. Because Hispanics and blacks, they don't come out like just like, hey, I'm gay. No, it's a whole big thing. In front
Big
of
fanfare.
Oh yeah, Grandpa gets upset.
I don't think that's
everything.
much a white thing as it is maybe a cultural, like that shit doesn't happen in the South, but it would probably happen, in more progressive areas like New York,
that is true.
Boston, or L.A.
Yeah, then again, you don't want to come out like that in the South. You probably get lynched.
Yeah, you probably want to move away before you come out.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, if he's been gay the entire time, that's cool. That's fine. Have you seen those swimsuit issues with Iceman with the Speedos? That makes sense now.
Well, I now that they went down this road, I hope they keep it and don't go, oh well,
Yes.
that was an alternate timeline and he's straight, They do something like that.
Well,
that's
I mean,
not really the past X-Men, that's an alternate past X-Men.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's like, well, no, you can't have your cake and eat it too, man.
Well, even then, it'd be like, so what? Something in the timeline made him gay?
That sounds bad. It still sounds bad.
Or if they're just like, well, no, it's just a parallel universe copy of him. And like, so let me get this straight. Everything is the exact same. Like, it's not like Iceman has like black hair in this universe. He's just the only thing different is gay. Every universe, everybody looks and is physiologically the exact same.
Yeah.
Except for one in this weird universe, everybody's gay. Like,
Yeah. Brian, you gonna say something, man?
No, I was just thinking like maybe his gay was killed in an alleyway behind a movie theater by a robber once.
Oh yeah. Right.
There we go. Thank you, Brett.
I got it. I like that.
Yeah. No, but
then
seriously,
again,
I honestly don't care. Like, as long as he can still freeze things, that's all I care about.
yes, there you go.
I mean, like, who cares if you're gay or not? Like, if you can freeze people, then okay, you're not being fucked with either way.
can we just please not just let this slide into tokenism? Like, I appreciate the fact he's like, hey, I'm just a guy, and I happen to be gay. I think let's not make it like Iceman accepts lets the gay into his heart and just becomes fabulous.
Oh man.
Like, I don't want to see him jazz handsing his way onto the scene and icing people. Like, for the love of God, please don't.
Yeah, hey, you know what? They already bucked the trend by having the ice guy become, a gay guy. They didn't have Pyro become gay. That would have been really bad.
There's too many bad jokes there.
Exactly. So good. Just the ice guy, he's gay. That's fine. We avoided that. Like, wait, the fire guy is gay. No, he's not gay. He's straight. The fire guy is straight.
Just throw everyone off and make Apocalypse gay.
Yeah, right.
Just mess with everyone. There you go, guys.
Honey, you're only a Delaney, you never know.
He's actually hot for cable. It's like, no! And your head explodes.
Oh,
I say you screw it. Just make Wolverine gay, and then just blow up everyone's minds.
Oh,
Yeah,
could
heads
you
would
imagine
explode.
that would be insane. All right, the last thing I want to end it off with some good news, because I was not expecting this to happen. I expected this to happen after Defenders. Daredevil Season 2 announced for next year. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, that took them no time.
No time. And this is why I love TV and film. When something's successful, they're like, "Yep, we got another one coming." When video games are successful, we'll see. It's like, well, what are you talking about? You're gonna come out with another one, right? Maybe. And then they announce it like a year later. It's like, we knew this already.
They have to do all the prep work and they have to do all the concept art, and it's not like, I mean, I guess in video game sequels they can announce, yeah, we're going to do a new one, but
No, but I mean, I'm talking about with video games, they are very reticent to announce a sequel. We announce with movies, it's like, yep, we got a sequel coming. Do you have a script? Nope. But look how much money we made this weekend. We got a sequel coming.
Yeah, but I think the difference is, like, well, even then, they're like, we have a rough idea. Like, we have another Avengers movie coming out. It's gonna have to do with blank. Whereas when they're like, we have another Fallout coming, before they even announce it, they're like, shit, we need to figure out what kind of game this is going to be, where it's going to take place. We need to get some concept art up. We need to have some stuff to go along with the announcement. They can't just be like, yep, we're going to make another Fallout. Because everybody knows they're going to make another Fallout. But when they announce it, they're like, people are going to be like, so where's this going to be? And they're like, I don't know, Boston maybe?
Yeah, you can't go into super details, but to me, I just find it refreshing because the video games, they're like, hey, can you tell us about next year's Call of Duty? We haven't announced we're going to come out with a Call of Duty, but you've come out with Call of Duty for 10 years. We're not going to talk about that now. It's like, come on, guys. The only thing that slightly worries me about the Daredevil thing is like the showrunners, the original showrunners are all gone. They got a bunch of new guys, but they wrote episodes, so it should be okay. You know, I just hope they maintain the whole tone of it because that it was so refreshing. And it's funny, I went back to watch Arrow after watching Daredevil, and it's like a kiddie show. It's like a kiddie show in comparison. It's still cool, don't get me wrong, but it's not. Arrow's he just fucks everybody
Well, again, I go back. It goes back to like this is now online streaming. They don't have the restraints of TV and standards and practices. Like if Daredevil wants to implode somebody's face in and just like knock out all their teeth and their skull, his fist is going through their skull, they can do that.
Exactly.
Whatever the hell they want, like it, all bets are off, so they can do that. And I think, thankfully, now in the internet age where you can get actual metrics for how many people are watching and interested in the show, they're like, oh, winner.
Yeah.
We like the second season. Like
Now,
TV still using Nielsen ratings or whatever, which is like fucking archaic
Ridiculous.
and stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Do you know
Netflix
how many
can tell how many times it's been played exactly,
Exactly.
and how many times people have watched it multiple times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then okay, now here's the part I want to get to. Let's speculate. What do you think season 2 is going to be on? This may be too early, but I'm going to go with it anyway. I think they're going to do Reborn. I think they're going to go with the whole Kingpin finds out he's Matt Murdock and fucks up his entire life, and the whole season is him trying to build that back up again. I think because remember, when Marvel got the rights to Daredevil back, they were like, we're going to make a Reborn movie, Born Again movie, and then they changed plans to do a TV series. So I'm going to suspect it's going to be that. It's going to be Born Again.
What about Bullseye?
Bullseye, that's you just kind of fucked up my shit now because Bullseye is not part of Born Again unless they sneak him in there. Damn it, Brett.
He is such a huge part of the Daredevil universe, though.
He really is. Damn it. Okay, so they would have to do a Bullseye thing. I guess that, okay, you know what, Brett, you changed my mind. Born Again will be later. The next one will be Bullseye and Elektra. They already mentioned Elektra. He's like, hey, what happened to that Greek chick you were going out with? And then it didn't work out. It might be that. It might be the whole full-on Frank Miller thing now with Bullseye and Elektra. And the cool thing with Bullseye is that's where you get to see Daredevil's ambiguity when it comes to his villains. Because remember, he has him dangling over a building. He just throws him off. He's like, this guy's going to fuck shit up again. I'm just going to throw him off the fucking building. We already saw that in season 1. So, yeah, Brett, you changed my mind. I think they're going to introduce Bullseye. I want
to see Bullseye. There's specifically someone that Bullseye kills that I'm waiting to.
Ooh, and then here's the other thing. Elektra's probably going to be introduced because they already introduced the Hand. They didn't call him the Hand, but the Hand was introduced already. So we're probably going to get that whole storyline. And Kingpin's probably going to be back somehow, out of jail or whatever.
Yeah.
And he'll probably be more like the Kingpin we know from the books than the one he is on the show.
Here's what I see happening. I see Kingpin going to jail and using what's left of his money and criminal connections to hire out a world-famous mercenary known as Bullseye to try and take care of the Man in Black problem that cost him so dearly. Like, I see it being a vengeance storyline. Like, you've put Kingpin away, but now he's sent out his hounds, and now you have to deal with, like, you've now activated enough that they're calling in the supervillains.
Yeah. I forget, wasn't it? Didn't he hire I think he hired Elektra first to take him out, but then she was like, "Oh, he was my boyfriend. I'm not gonna take him out." And then he hired Bullseye to take both of them out. So they may do something along those lines.
Yep, and then you could end the next season with Kingpin being released again or something.
Yeah, and then you set up Born Again. Oh man, Chris, what do you think? What would you like to see in season 2?
I guess I'd like to. Well, I think now that I have Bullseye in my head, I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that fight because I think Bullseye is like his perfect antithesis.
Yes.
I think out of everybody, like that's perfect. Like, while I'd love to see Kingpin tear his life apart, like Born Again, but I think Bullseye would be a much better build up.
Yeah, because he is essentially like Daredevil. If he kills, he's not much different, because Daredevil was just almost there at that edge. He just didn't cross it yet, but he was there. And here's the thing: I was reading this. I forgot where I read it from, but it was interesting. How there's somehow Daredevil throughout the entire series, he lied to all the closest friends. He lied for years. Kingpin, all the closest people to him, he didn't lie to him at all. I found that very interesting. Obviously, Kingpin lied to the whole world and stuff, but to his closest allies and Vanessa, he was completely honest. Meanwhile, Daredevil was completely dishonest.
Yeah, if you guys don't mind getting off a tangent real quick, like, what did we think about the casting in Daredevil?
I thought it was great personally. I was actually really surprised by Vincent D'Onofrio because he could not have played Kingpin 10 years ago. He didn't have the physique. And also, he's a really good character actor. Like, he's not like Anthony Hopkins or Robert De Niro, where they're always that same guy in every movie. You know, he fit that role perfectly. Like, when you saw him, you didn't think Vincent D'Onofrio. You're like, that's fucking Kingpin.
Or Frankenstein.
Or yeah.
Or sophisticated Frankenstein.
Yeah, I mean, going with the casting, I can't name anyone that I disliked, so I'm gonna go with Ben Urich was great, Foggy was good.
Did you think Matt Murdock was good casting?
I think he was.
I didn't.
Why is that?
Well, I mean, you're probably closer because I didn't read that much Daredevil, but you know, Matt Murdock always struck me as not Batmaning that much. Like, he always struck me as a fairly animated person. Not necessarily like, you know, energetic or anything like that. He was.
Is this guy striking you as kind of flat?
He's seeming very Batman-y. Like, Matt Murdock, like, showed surprise. Like, he wasn't always cool behind those sunglasses. Like, you know, when like Elektra burst in on him, he'd be like, you know, and like, you know, and I realize that's comics and that's overacting in comics a little bit, but I'm getting really, like, Batman, Arrow, Daredevil, I feel like they're all kind of the same character at this point.
I was telling people, Daredevil is pretty much Batman without money. He is a very dark, brooding, complex character, and this series captured him perfectly.
Yeah,
I'm like,
but is Matt Murdock. I'm not talking about. I think he made a great Daredevil. I'm not sure he made my favorite Matt Murdock.
Oh no, yeah, actually no, he handled Matt Murdock well. The Matt Murdock in this one is like the Bendis version of him. He's a very low key, not very animated, very blunt guy. You know, like you almost kind of don't want to be around him. Like he's kind of rude. You know, like in this the one in the show is kind of like that too. Like this guy's kind of a dick. And
maybe I just didn't read that run because he always struck me as like a little bit more kind of pure. Like he really believes in justice and law, and he's a little bit of a boy. He's a Boy Scout in the opposite the way that Superman is. Like he's not jaded, but he'll still kick somebody's ass.
Yeah, here's the thing though. If you read the beginning of Frank Miller's run, he is more like the Matt Murdock you described. By the end of it, he becomes the Matt Murdock that you saw in the show and what he has become since. It's really like I said, I know what you're talking about because sometimes I'm reading these books like Matt Murdock is not a very likable guy. Like, he really isn't. You know, he is just like, I wouldn't want to be around this dude. Like, I'd rather be around Daredevil. He seems a little bit more jovial and fun compared to this brooding mess here, you know? So, yeah. So, in that regard, I think they did it right. I think, Brett, do yourself a favor and read that Bendis run. It's fantastic. It's great. He's actually more Matt Murdock in that and less Daredevil. People complain about that, but I thought it was good. It showed that aspect of him. And, yeah, Matt Murdock is not a very nice guy. He really isn't. He's kind of a dick.
I didn't think he was a nice guy so much as that he was a little bit more keen to showing some emotion. Like he wasn't as cool as this one is.
Yeah, again, old pre-Frank Miller fucking him up, Matt Murdock. That's how he was. Afterwards, yeah, or especially after Born Again, they're like, yeah, this guy's just not fun anymore. You know, he's very blunt to the point. But the show, to me, remember, I've read all these books. It captured him perfectly. So I thought the cast, like I said, I don't have any complaints. The one that really stuck out to me the most, like, I mean, besides Vincent D'Onofrio, was the guy who played Ben Urich. Like, obviously he was black, like he looked different, but he was like, that's the guy from the books. This is Ben Urich. I thought that was fantastic. I loved the way he was that.
I thought Foggy was perfect.
Foggy was great. Podcat. There we go. Yeah, Foggy was great. I know some people complain about Foggy, and I'm still trying to figure out why you would complain about Foggy.
He was like Rachel's like, I don't know if I like Foggy. I'm like, Foggy is exactly like that in the comic book.
Yeah, he is.
He looks a little downsy.
He looks a little downsy in the comic books.
Yeah.
That's what he told me, and I was just like, oh, okay, if that's what he's supposed to be, then good casting.
Yeah, no, Foggy was good. Karen was good too. I like how she's hiding something. I'm pretty sure they'll explore that in the next season.
Karen was weird. Like I told Rachel, it's obviously I kind of like what they did with Karen because instead of actually making an actress who looks anything like Karen from the comic books, They instead went, okay, when these comics were made, she had the huge, the big fucking beehive hairdo and the bright blonde hair, and, like, the little secretary outfit. Like, they were going for, like, stereotypical, pretty, airheaded secretary that's actually smart beneath the surface. And so I like how they took all the things that Karen was built out of and built a new Karen 2.0 instead of just being like, I don't know, bubbly blonde. Boom, done.
Yeah.
She comes across as secretary. She comes across as naive, but smart. Like, she comes across
she's got a brain in her head. She's not an unlikable character.
Yeah, I just
Not
want
yet.
to see. Yeah, I want to see her turn. Yeah, I want to see her turn into the crazy crack whore she eventually does.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, in True Blood, she was a vampire, so
Ooh, fancy.
addicted to the blood. And oh my god, I much prefer her as a redhead too.
Well, it's redheads in generals are just hotter. you know.
Well, my god, she's got the coloring for it. Not so much as a blonde, and I'm just nitpicking, I know, but the makeup, not just her makeup, but the makeup on the other people, even like the guys, is just horrendous. I don't know if it's bad lighting, bad makeup, but you could see like the lightener they put up under their eyes and all this other stuff, and I'm just like, I shouldn't be looking at this. I should be focused on the story. No, I want to see in the next season. I want to see more of Rosario Dawson's tits.
Ooh, yes, let's bring her up. I thought that she was a very good night nurse, and I like the way they used her as a sort of plot device to introduce his powers instead of just going, these are his powers, let's explain it for 5 minutes. Like, you find out with her, it's like, this guy's like blind, but he's not blind. What the hell's going on here? And he just slowly explains some of this stuff, and you kind of figure it out without telling it so much. I like that. So I'm guessing.
Like, holy shit, blind people see in fire.
Yeah, like how are you doing that? It's like, okay, this guy could listen really good. What's going on here? I thought she was good. Yeah, more Rosario Dawson. I'm not complaining about that.
Okay, for continuity's sake, can Daredevil, yes or no, see what is printed on a piece of paper? Because they've implied that he can feel the ink on the paper and decipher what's there that way.
Here's the thing, on the show they didn't talk about it, but yes, he can. He could, like, because it's always raised up a little bit. He could read any print just by running his hand through it. Now, obviously, if it's glossy paper, he ain't reading shit. But a normal piece of paper, he could read it. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, there you go. They didn't mention it on the show, which I found odd. But
well, he had his hands running over a paper, and he garnered information from that. So I was
remember that was the Braille. That was the Braille paper he was looking at.
What's that? I thought at one point it was like a newspaper or a print paper.
No, it was the Braille paper. If he was in his office, it was a Braille paper.
No, it was when he was masked.
When he was masked?
He took off his glove and ran his hands over it.
Okay, so they did have that then. They just didn't overly say it. Because, yeah, he could read newspaper print because that's raised up a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you put a magazine in front of him, he won't be able to read it at all.
Gotcha.
Which is pretty cool. But yeah, Daredevil season 2, hell yeah, I'm all for that. I guess it doesn't matter what they're, because I honestly thought it was going to be after the Defenders, but I guess they don't care about that because they're like, oh, this shit's making us like money now, more, just more.
Well, it's because people burned through the whole season already.
Yeah, man.
Like, I'm sure they were looking at it, they're like, everybody's done watching the whole season. They're like, fuck, we need to announce that we're making another one then.
Yeah, it's like they release it at 12, right, a.m., and then it's like 1 o'clock they finish. Like, damn, they just sat down and watched the whole shit nonstop. Oh, man. Yeah, Daredevil, good shit. I'm looking forward to that. I think that's pretty much it. Rachel, can you give us an update on spoiler alert for Game of Thrones?
Yeah, Game of Thrones spoiler alert. We have decided to do, like, if there's a big episode, like another Red Wedding, we can do one, but mostly we can just kind of save it for the finale and do, like, a big, huge, long one and cover the whole season, because scheduling, health issues, all kinds of stuff going on, it's not so much working out.
Yeah.
Having Throwdown twice a week and then throw another podcast is tough on top of it. So if we hit a big episode, we'll key in or we'll check back with everybody mid-season. And that's the other thing. Like, what was it, the first 4 or 5 episodes were already leaked? So I think that would be a good point to reach and then check in with everybody.
Yeah, we'll do maybe after 5 unless there's another, like I said, another Red Wedding.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we'll play that by ear, but we'll obviously have a big season recap for you guys. So don't worry, you will hear our thoughts on the show this season.
Oh,
all
yeah.
that stuff.
Well, if you don't hear from us before season 5, we'll do a mid-season check-in, both because it's mid-season and it's as far as all the leaked ones have had. So right now everybody's at different points, but if we do a spoiler cast after season 5, we're recapping information and everybody's then at the same point. So I think 5 would probably be a good one to.
Unless you're a big loser and you don't like Game of Thrones, because that would be the only reason you don't watch it.
Yeah, then screw you guys.
In which case, if you haven't caught up to it by now, I hope somebody inserts this into your podcast or MP3 library and you get spoiled on it by accident.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
I've started threatening people with Game of Thrones. I was like, if you don't start fucking watching this, I'm just going to come in and tell you what happened this week.
You fucking ass. That's brutal, dude.
Spoiler, I don't watch Game of Thrones.
Uh-oh, don't ruin it for Brian.
Snape kills Dumbledore.
Oh, no.
Second spoiler, I really don't watch it either. I don't have HBO.
I don't have HBO either, but I watch it, just saying.
All you need to know, Brian, is that everybody dies.
Pretty much. All right, so there you go. Game of Thrones. Yeah, we'll be back in the mid-season. Then obviously we're going to finish it all off and give our crazy, random thoughts on the show. And if there's a big colored wedding, we'll definitely be back for that.
The colored wedding.
Yep. All right, guys. Once again, if you're in Chicago for C2E2, make sure you go to Emilio Lopez's and Kari Randolph's table. It's T10 in Artist Alley. Go check them out. They got a bunch of cool shit there. And that's it. We'll be back for Throwdown questions. So thank you for watching and listening. Be sure to follow The Coalition at thecoalition.com. Co-op, Nice Their Turntable, Baby and the Beard. Check out all that shit. Subscribe to Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Throwdown Show and on Facebook's. Links are available down there and all that good jazz. So once again, I was your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I was joined by Chris Seeley.
Hey, good night, everyone.
Rachel Murdoch.
Oh, I was gonna have a burp ready, but instead I swallowed it.
Yeah,
Bye, everybody.
Brian Majoma.
I'm gonna watch Ultron again tomorrow.
Yeah, not the trailer, the full movie now.
Or even both. Just watch the trailer at the cinema while the trailers are running.
There
Why
you
not?
go. Oh man, and of course Brett Murdoch.
I am not going to watch it. Because I'm in America. America. Fuck yeah.
That's
Next
what you
week.
get for leaving the colony. Yeah? Get your Ultron for a week.
We'll get there, Brett. Don't worry about it. We'll get there. All right, guys. See
That's
you on.
okay. We already decided on the 4th of July we have to be patriotic and tell Brian to go fuck himself. Because that's the most American thing you can do is tell a British guy to fuck off.
P.S. England, go fuck yourselves.
On a side note, today was St. George's Day, or yesterday, so that's essentially our pseudo 4th of July.
Oh, okay. Good for you guys. I'm like, who the fuck? Like, you have so many Georges in that damn country. You know? Oh, man. All right, guys. We'll see you on Throwdown Questions. Later.
See ya.
There, people.
Sure.